Okay, how about now? Can you hear me now? I think so. All right. There, I've got confirmation. And good morning is what he said was it is 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., October 4th, 2023 on a Wednesday. Well, good thing I do sound checks, right? Because I thought I had that under control. It's been so long since I messed up on that. What am I going to go to? I've got emails to respond to. Now, the first, let's see, this first email, it has my client's address on it, so I'm not going to display it. Let's see, where can I get? Yeah, that's got his name. I can't show any of this. But anyway, it's actually not a client of mine. It's a former client of mine. It's that office that I terminated my relationship with them. Some of you remember doing that a while back. One of their staff members, I received an email from him asking me to, let's see, what did he say? Please see below for your review. Let me know if you have any questions. And in a safe environment, I checked those out and they were prompting me for my Microsoft credentials. Of course, I didn't put those in. And then I sent him an email asking if he sent that to me, and he never responded. I'm guessing he probably was getting a lot of questions from people. And we're just, again, highlighting that where the traditional news media might still be saying don't click links in emails that aren't from people that you know. That is no longer the case. They can come from people that you know. Do not click on the links unless you are specifically expecting that and you know for sure what it is that you're getting. If it's at all in question, pick up the phone and call them. And then I got a message from Google Workspace, which is my mail carrier, letting me know that that message was a phishing email. And how much time difference was there between those two? Let's see, 1:46 p.m. yesterday was when the original email came to me, and 10:08 p.m. is when the notification from Google came. 1:46 p.m., 10:06 p.m. I think I said those right. So then I'm going to take those off of my list of emails so I don't accidentally expose anything there. And then come to the next one in my list, which is chat room comments that I picked up from yesterday from Jim KJ3N, saying most OEM machines have the key embedded in the BIOS. It will not ask what version if the installer detects the key. And on Saturday, someone provided information for how to bypass that, and it's in the channel comments, so we'll get to that in a little bit. And not how to prevent the Windows installer from picking up that information from the BIOS. So I'm wondering then, now he's saying OEM machines have the key embedded in the BIOS. Well, I guess that makes sense because it's not digitally activated until you actually, well, not everybody's going to sign into a Microsoft account. I don't know how they do that. It doesn't really matter, but apparently BIOS is still involved there somehow, some way. Ken Stout is asking for the link for the April Fool's rules. So because, well, it wasn't me. It was one of the other Dougs. It was, oh, I don't know what to call that Doug. The one that goes, checks, and investigates. Permalink rules. This is rules that I found for the rules and customs of April Fool's Day. And much to my chagrin, I did not find the rule about you cannot insist that it's not an April Fool's prank. But in an unpublished edition of Grandpa Doug's rules for April Fool's Day, it says, page 14, on the third paragraph on the right-hand side, that you cannot insist on your honor that it is not an April Fool's Day prank. You got to pull it off without claiming that. But I did find something else here interesting. Down at the bottom, another famous April Fool's Day launch occurred April 1st, 1976. That's the year I graduated high school. When Apple Computer was founded by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. According to histories of the company, this date was chosen purposefully as a way of saying we want to be different. What I'm saying is, since they launched the company on April 1st, is this is just a very long-running April Fool's Day prank. And one of these years, they're going to explode it, an acknowledgement, and all of our Apple devices will just stop working. And they'll say, April Fools. Could it be? Oh, Doug. Doug, what am I going to do with you? Oh, then this one, I sent an email to myself to remind me to show you. I've mentioned before that YouTube seems to be pushing more for live streamers to do advertisements during their ads. And this is where it is every time I schedule a new stream, it says, focus on your live stream here in this blue lettering and let YouTube insert ads for you. And I can either turn it on or dismiss it. Of course, I've been dismissing it, but I've told you a couple times now that I intend to test that this coming Saturday, every Saturday during October, and see if it makes. We'll just see how it goes, basically. To show you a little bit more about that, let me come over here to one of the Saturday shows in particular. Yeah, we'll take the most recent Saturday show and then analytics and then click on revenue. So estimated revenue for that show that started Saturday was 37 cents. So if that was a 2-hour long show, which I think I was only an hour and a half. So if you take 37 cents and divide by 1.5, that'll tell you how much I was making per hour on that. And then Super Chat was 98 cents. Watch page ads was 89 cents. Over here it shows that they charged advertisers $7.38 per 1,000 views. And my revenue would be $1.87 per 1,000 views. Now, if I go back further to, well, let's go a couple weeks back. Here's that one where I did a split. Now, that's probably not a good one since it was split. Here's a 2-hour long show. And then go to analytics. I have not pre-looked at this. I don't know what it is. Now, this steady line across here shows that it's not getting more views over time. But it has an estimated revenue of $2.18. And down here showing advertisers pay $8.97 per 1,000 views, which that video hasn't had 1,000 views. And I earn $2.18. Oh, no, here's revenue for every 1,000 views. $8.15 to me, charging the advertisers $8.97. Wow, that's an interesting, that's a much higher percentage than I was expecting. But so far, I have actually earned $2.18 off of that. So looking over at chat, I just took a glance at chat to make sure everything's going okay. Looks like it is. And then this one, I have an email from, I almost called him Tim Stout again. I think I saw in comments that I did actually call him Tim Stout yesterday. Tim Sowell. I did get to see your, let's see, this came in 15 hours ago, 6:01 p.m. yesterday. I did get to see your show until about 12 p.m. Probably meant I did not get to see your show until about 12. Pretty cool. Some of these machines, laptops, you cannot replace the I/O board. It's all built into the motherboard. We were talking about what he showed us on Saturday with a damaged laptop that he's working to repair. Now I have replaced DC charging modules, which is a pain in the butt, but you've got to take everything out just to get to this part that's no bigger than your thumbnail, which really sucks. It only takes, and is it your thumbnail that sucks, or you can suck on your thumb? Maybe it's the part he's referring to. It only takes an hour to take apart. You have a big mess, parts are everywhere. It doesn't bother me none, but 3 hours to put it back together. Sometimes I've seen laptop with no heat sink in it. That was weird. I scratched my head. I think that's because the lower end processors don't get hot enough to need a heat sink. So it might be normal that that particular model computer didn't have a heat sink, but yet the case was built so that it could accommodate a heat sink, and that's when that case is used for a more powerful processor. But it works, but the case for it had vents for a heat sink and no fan, nothing. The customer was very happy with it after I put a brand new SSD in it. It was sluggish previously. It was for another machine shop. You talked about Chris Garrett's comment. A big thumbs up for Chris. Great idea, but that's not the case sometimes. And I think Chris was suggesting that he could just replace the USB port, that it might be a replaceable component. 75% of the stuff I work on are freaking laptops. I've gotten used to it. Doesn't bother me no more. Speaking of the DC charging module, I've taken a laptop apart to put new battery in it that was swollen. Put the new battery in it. 3 days later, it's dead, doesn't work no more. A very good indication that the DC charging module or the power brick is bad. Also, there could be power circuitry on the motherboard that's failing to charge the battery. Oh, by the way, when you're really freaking busy in the aviation community, you sent some work my way. Some of those fixes were easy. Guess what they were? Laptops. And occasionally I get cool calls from those cool aviators. Wish I could say their names on here, but you know who they are. Some are more famous. Well, maybe one or two. Thank you for that email, Tim. Now I almost called him Tim Stowell. I got to get Ken Stout out of my life. He just messes up my vocabulary too much. You think? Tasman Coins, hello. Yeah, let's see. Let's go catch some. Where do I get this? Oh, comments. There was, whoops, wait a minute. Oh, that channel comment was not on that video. I got to go back to the channel. Catch a couple comments. Oh, 12 minutes ago. Chris Garrett, if you want to be asked the addition of Windows 10 during the install, put this in Notepad, save as ei.cfg. Make sure you put the quote symbols. Make sure you put the quote symbols. Then take your install USB and add those to sources. Make sure you put the quote symbols. And that's weird. You save the file as ei.cfg. It would not use quote symbols. But somebody on Saturday gave us a link to what the content of that file should be. Put this in Notepad. If you want to be asked, put this in Notepad, save as. Yeah, maybe there was a link there that didn't show up. He didn't tell us what to put into Notepad, but that was given to us on Saturday's show. Martin Hogg says, brilliantly amusing trailer. Thank you. I don't think Ken Stout was around to see that trailer, was he? I don't know if he's old enough to appreciate that content. All right. So I'm going to thumbs up and heart these. I don't need to reply to those. Now, let's see. Did I have anything else? Did I have anything over here? Oh, I do have stuff. Oh, that was just the rules and customs of April Fool's Day. I already showed you that one. Pop out chat. Oh, I know something else I want to show. The Carrie Holzman show from yesterday, I haven't finished it. I think I'm not sure if it was, if I got halfway through because it was still running. I was watching in DVR mode. But for those of you who aren't catching or checking in with all of Carrie's shows, I think you would very much enjoy that one that he did yesterday. That is, oh, I got to go to live to find out. Here, yeah, this was very, very interesting show and very different. He's working with a massive computer. It's a server, has like 7 expansion slots, and it was from a YouTuber that's similar subscription level as Carrie, but this person recently moved into Carrie's town, at least, and it was super damaged. Lots of shipping damage in it when the other YouTuber shipped it from his old home to his new home. And I'm looking forward to finishing that. Oh, it looks like I was that far along. I was only, 16 minutes into it. So I do suggest, if you're interested in seeing something different, um, than Carrie's normal streams, that is very, very interesting show. Now, I got to get to my chat room, pop out chat. Don't give me, no spoilers in chat. I don't want to know how that worked out. If you already put a spoiler in chat, please go delete it. Dennis, Johnny Carson, and that cop from Dragnet. Oh, I guess I just blew it. I just told Ken Stout what that trailer was. Oh boy. Nicholas Hooks, hello. Rick Lakes, Tim Sal, cool trailer. Brian Lightfoot. My wife said that somebody told her that I look like an owl. I said, who? Tim Cruz. Hi, Chad. I'm at work. I'll talk to you later. Ran Israel. Hi, all. Superb trailer. Seldom Ball with the weather report. Rick Lakes. Ran Israel. No. Audio. Sound check. Nick, Brian, Kenny Whitten. Seldom Ball. We can hear you now. Ran Israel. Alice. Says hello to all. Richard Rogers. Rick Lakes. Speedy C. Martin Hogg, brilliant trailer, very amusing, thanks. Alice, funny trailer. Dennis, 11:20 a.m. Pacific time. Expect a test from the emergency broadcast system on your phone, United States only. Ah, good to know. Thank you. Pacific time, 11:20. All right, that'll be interesting. Let's see. I'm going to actually make a note of that because I might lose that chat by then. Because I want to see how accurate that Dennis's inside information was. Emergency broadcasts. I have to write down what it is because otherwise 2 days from now I'll look at that note and say, what was that about? Nicholas Hooks, I'm going to see if my PlayStation 5 is here. John Williams, I have seen the Jack Webb and Johnny Carson video before. It's awesome. Thanks for sharing. You are welcome. William Dawson, Rick Lakes. Alice, I went to buy Microsoft 360 Family, but the price from Microsoft directly is $79.99. Does anyone recommend a better place to get a cheaper deal? Microsoft 365, Microsoft 365 is a subscription. Now, if that's the annual price, that is a really good price because you get, when you buy Microsoft 365, you can share that with 5 family members, which makes a total of 6 people. I'm pretty sure that's the right way. It might be 4 plus you makes 5. And each of those people get 1 terabyte of OneDrive space. Each of those people get the full Microsoft Office suite, and each of those people can install that on, I think it's 5 devices. It might be 5 computer plus mobile devices. I can't quite quote that perfectly. But when you divide that out over a monthly basis over a year, it's a fantastic deal. And I don't think you can buy that elsewhere because, for instance, the CDK deals that Carrie has, I think those are all purchasing products. I don't think you can get the subscription there, but it may be worth checking. And I'm sure you don't get it from Amazon. Now, there's a problem with buying it elsewhere. I had a client buy Microsoft 365 subscription through Best Buy, and it caused us years of trouble when we need renewals or when we want to make a change to it. I absolutely will not buy from anyone other than Microsoft. And I have some clients who have internet. They buy their internet services from a specific business provider, and they sell Microsoft 365 through there. I don't want to buy through those either because they have also caused me substantial troubles. I want to buy only from Microsoft. If you buy elsewhere, you get tied in to whatever that elsewhere is, and anytime you want to make changes, it's just a nightmare because you can't deal with Microsoft directly. I very, very much advise against buying Microsoft 365 anywhere other than Microsoft because of the troubles that I've had with those environments. Tasman Coins, I know who you are. We're going to turn you blue. Add as moderator, standard moderator. Welcome. Good to see you. Nicholas Hooks, it is not here yet. Oh, PlayStation 5. Wintermute, poor Ken. Doug is picking on him again. Let's see. Chit chats between people welcoming Tasman. Richard Rogers, Rick Lakes, what, Chris? I am here just consuming some breakfast from Lawn Dog. Ken Stout, which trade are you discussing? None of your business. None of your business. You did not come to check out what trailer I had. You could have done that last night on your show. You could have gone to check, gee, what trailer does Doug have running today? You showing up here late, and you don't even bother to come in 5 minutes early to see, gee, I'm curious, what trailer does Doug have showing today? Yeah, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. Stout. Ugh. Huh. Get that man out of my hair. Oh, here's using ei.cfg. Create these configuration files into a text editor, save the files into the sources folder on the installation media for Windows 10 or 11. Windows setup uses these files during the Windows pre-installation environment. Configuration passes as soon as it is launched. An answer file takes precedence over these files, so it's this stuff that you're going to put in there. And the edition ID, I suppose that just as long as you have those there, that causes it to not grab the information from BIOS. Well, there's that link for any of you that wants to save it. I'm not going to bother saving it because I never am in that environment where I need to do that. Lawn Dog, Carrie Holzman show from yesterday about that shipping damage PC, man, did that thing take a hit? Yeah, I cannot imagine. It's got this 1200 watt power supply put in by screws, and it was out and cockeyed. All of the expansion boards were out of their sockets. I think maybe there was one still in. And it's really a very impressive computer, very different than anything Carrie ever works on that I've seen him work on. Not only did it take a hit, I think it was kicked around some more. Yeah, kick a computer when it's down, because that's a thing to do. All right, trying to get back where I was. Chances are all the components are okay except for the motherboard, which apparently we now know has been damaged. Oh, you spoiled it for me. Oh, Lawn Dog. That's a $1,000 motherboard, more accurately $1,049 from Amazon. That's all right, I'll still watch it. I was suspecting that it was probably damaged beyond work simply because the show wasn't long enough to have actually got it up and running. Ken Stout says, thanks to Tasman for joining. Greg M. I was astounded that they shipped that case with the video card in the computer. I would have pulled the video card out and shipped it separately. Yeah, it's particularly noteworthy because the place it was coming from, let's see, what's home, home serve, something or other. And it's a technology channel. I don't know who actually determined how to ship it, but they probably, or maybe that channel isn't accustomed to shipping computers. I don't know. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting story. I hope Carrie and that other YouTuber do get produce some more content, or hope they produce some content together. That'll be an interesting collaboration. Martin Tallis, you could install LibreOffice, which is full Office suite, is compatible with MS Office, totally free. Best source would be www.ninite. Yeah, there's a couple of Office suites. I prefer to install directly from LibreOffice instead of using Ninite. because it comes from LibreOffice. It doesn't come from Ninite. So there you're using a third party to install that. Be interested to know why you prefer that, Martin. Is it just because you do a lot of installs? And Alice said, yeah, it's a free. If you just, it'll open Microsoft Office documents and it'll save files in a way that somebody else using Microsoft Office can open them. So you might be interested in that. I don't know what your interest in Microsoft 365 is. It's not going to provide the OneDrive storage. It's not going to do the automatic updates that Microsoft Office 365 does. And well, because it's free, you don't care about it being a family version. Does Ken have a show after this? I haven't done any redirect yet. I haven't even looked. Ken to Alice, I could be tucked into it. Oh, for doing a show. Yeah, I haven't done any redirect yet. So Ken, you got a few minutes. Lawn Dog, not to mention that graphics card sounds like it had a screw holding it in place like it should for proper mounting. How the heck could that screw still be good and not broken off? There are actually 3 screws. There are 3 screws holding that graphics card in place. The other cards, there were 2 M.2 expansion cards that hold, I believe it was 4 M.2s each. One of them was completely out of its socket. The other one, the edge connector was out of its socket, but still screwed on the slot on the back. Alice, thanks, Martin Hogg. I have a lot of documents on my PC which I need to access. Would be good. Hope you know what I'm getting at from Lawn Dog. Those screws don't just pop out. They should have been broken off. Yeah, it looked like he was able to screw those back in. That graphics card, I saw him put those screws back in with his powered screwdriver. LibreOffice download from Gary. This will be getting it directly from LibreOffice. Be careful here about... No, this is not an advertisement. Yeah, this is an older version. So yeah, that looks like a valid button to click on. I'll just go ahead and click download. And that takes you, that started the download here. It's downloading now. I'm going to abort it because it's going to take a while. 2 minutes left. Thank you, Gary. How far do I have to twist your arm to do a show, to Ken? Lawn Dog, I was told it's like 220, like, I was told it was like 220, like to know exact time for each time zone that I don't have information on. Just be aware that it's going to happen. So maybe 20 minutes after any specific hour. Oh, for that emergency broadcast. Yeah, 11:20 Pacific time would be 2:20 Eastern time. So that matches if you're talking about Eastern time, Lawn Dog. It sounds to me like it's supposed to go off at the same time across the country, maybe, because that would make sense. A national emergency alert should go off at the same moment all across the country, not an hour apart. Not very far scheduling now. Ken is scheduling now. Zavi Minor, learn how not to ship a computer with UPS. See what happened in Carrie's show. Yes, I will watch the rest of the show. I saw the damage. And I am eager to watch the rest of the show. I just did not have time yesterday. 6 people, 5 devices for Microsoft 365. So 6 people, each of them. Now I think it's 5 computers plus mobile devices. I'm not certain about that, but I think I've had more than a total of 5 myself. Although it's possible that you can install on more than 5 devices, but only have it signed in on 5 devices at the same time, because I think when I go to a device I haven't used for a while, I have to re-sign in and authenticate, and that might kick out one of my other devices from being active. I think you can install on unlimited number of devices, but only have it signed in on 5 at a time. That dollar amount, that subscription amount is really, really good deal if you want the genuine article, and I do. Dennis, got the phone test info from Good Morning America this morning. It was previously discussed on TikTok. People are worried that your phone might alert others of your whereabouts. Oh, that's interesting. People are worried that your phone might alert others of your whereabouts. And I'm sure he's not meaning that people would be able to figure out what room you're in the house, but that people not close to you would be able to figure out where you're at. That's interesting. And then here's a link for some, Microsoft. Microsoft Family 365, $7.99. Yeah, $9.99 a year. Alice said she saw 70 something. Well, this is personal. This is not family. So if you saw a discount at 70 something, isn't that what you said? Let's see, we're at 919 there. Let's go back and see. Yeah, $79.99 from Microsoft directly. Yeah, where were you getting $79.99? Best value for 2 to 6 people. For 1 to 6 people, sign in to 5 devices. Yeah, sign in 5 devices at once. You could have it installed on more than that. Use on PCs, Macs, phones, tablets, up to 6 terabytes of secure cloud storage. That means 1 terabyte each. Apps with premium features and offline access. Identity, data, device security, OneDrive, ransomware protection for your files and photos, ad-free secure email. No thanks, don't want to talk to you. For those who aren't watching, that was a chat offer on the Microsoft website. Thank you, Gary. Chris McGraw, to remain consistent, they should bump it to 365 people and 365 devices. Alice says, thanks. Brian, none of your business to Ken. That was priceless. Oh, yeah. When he's asking what the trailer is. Ken Stout, full disclosure, I saw the trailer today. And further disclosure, I think you got that idea from a great nightly show. No? No? Ken's saying no. He's saying I did not get it from a great nightly show. All right, you know better than I do. He's telling me no. Talking about Microsoft, lately they patched the updating to Windows 11 from Windows versions prior to Windows 10. So be on the lookout if you buy cheap keys online. So Chris McGraw is suspecting that some of the cheap keys purchased online might be showing trouble. They patched the updating to Windows 11 from Windows versions prior to Windows 10. All right, I think there's, if you got a link to that, to more detail on that, I'd sure like to see what you're referring to there. Martin Hogtalis, you could open them with LibreOffice just by right-click on the file and choose Open With, and you can choose either to open single file or all the files of that type. Full suite of tools. I didn't think you even had to say open. Oh, Open With, you could set a default for the file type, but you should be able to open directly into LibreOffice. If LibreOffice is your default program for DOC documents, you can just double click on a document. It should open into LibreOffice. It's a little bit different than Microsoft Office, but if you are very sensitive to the price, that is one way to get around it. Now, but another issue there is that it's really helpful for the users, people who are using it. If you have family members using it, they need to understand that they're not using the genuine product. Because if they look up instructions for how to make some settings change, it may be a little bit different in LibreOffice. That was pretty good. It's scheduled. Serve the Home. Yeah, that's that other YouTube channel, Serve the Home. And I have subscribed to it with notifications. I haven't watched one of their videos yet, but I am also eager to check that out. Well, Doug, Carrie apparently found some broken capacitors in the, spoiling the rest of it. I bemoaned that he spoiled it for me earlier, and now he puts in more detail. Carrie apparently found some broken capacitors in the far corner of the board near the audio circuitry. It's interesting that that specifically would keep the board from running. Not at all surprising that the board level repairs that I've watched. Now, I would encourage them to reach out to one of the board level repair YouTube channels and ask them if they would like to take that on, because getting 3 computer technology channels that are in little different specialities. Do you like the way I pronounce that word? Um, that would be really good to see. I'd love to see that motherboard go to a board level repair person for the repair. Since it is an expensive board, it justifies that. Ouch, 1,049. Yeah, for that motherboard. I wouldn't have been surprised to find out it was more than that. The capacitors were broken clean off, at least one of them. The other looked damaged. Still, it's interesting that would keep the board from running. Most of the time, capacitors are used for filtering. Yeah, but depending upon what they're filtering, it might be enough to blow it. And there might be some other damage that's not visible. There could be damage to components that are not visible, and a board level repair technician will be able to find that and repair it. Serve the home. It was sent from Texas to Arizona, very close to where Carrie has Studio B. Yes, that was my understanding, and that's part what I'm really eager to see some collaborations between them. Long Dog. So I suspect that this board, having been so traumatized, other components on the board may have been dislodged. Probably their soldering connections, given the way things are soldered these days. Absolutely. Lawn Dog, and the type of soldering, this is something for later discussion about low temperature solder used in the process and contamination. That's on the emergency test. Dennis has a Premiere. There's a link for Dennis's Premiere. You can go ahead and click on that now. It'll come up on another tab. And when that Premiere hits, it'll just start playing, and you'll hear your computer playing his Premiere. John Williams, the GPU is damaged as well, needs a new one. Oh, does anybody got a price on that graphics card? Alice says, thanks for the link for Dennis's Premiere. Jim, 1 or 2 Instapacks would have prevented most of that damage. Yeah, I've thought of that. What about putting these Instapacks inside there that will, especially the ones that will inflate, because they don't add any weight and hold things in place. I've been fascinated that has not been shown as a way to be able to ship a computer with graphics card installed. Of course, I suppose with as hard as they apparently can be handled, if it's inflated, if the Instapacks are air filled, could they get punctured? Well, let's see. We're over time, so I'm going to go schedule up Ken's show. And then I'll go hit the orange comments before ending this live stream. And then I'll go back and read the others. Here's a 10-4 DaVinci 9:45. He's got it scheduled for. It might be coming at you before that, Ken. Which you can start the show before the time that you scheduled it for. That'll work. By the way, this emergency test, the system has been modified from what we used to understand how the system worked. Now it's in control of the president directly to his office, but that's another subject for discussion. Really? The system has been modified. What we used to understand how the system worked. Now it's in control of the president directly to his office, but that's another subject. All right, you know what? I kind of think I like that. You can turn the alerts off on the iPhone. Well, you can turn off alerts, but I'm not sure. You might test that. I'd like somebody to volunteer. Turn off your alerts. I think that emergency broadcast is going to come through anyway. Okay, looking at oranges. I think you might not be taking into account people who are in abusive relationships, and such an alarm happens while they're experiencing a problem. Well, happens while they're experiencing a problem. Yikes. I think for an emergency alert, at that point, I think abusive relationships are not priority. People in abusive relationships need to be taking measures themselves. Turn your phone off. You've got to be taking direct actions. We can't, under a national emergency, no. It is not the country's responsibility to babysit you that somebody out there might be in an abusive relationship that has not taken appropriate measures to protect themselves. So no, I'm sorry, Selden. I don't mean to come down on that, but I respect your opinion on that, but no, I disagree. Maybe I misunderstood what you're trying to say there, but the damage will not stop with more $1,000 board, maybe more. The damage not stop with more $1,000 board. It may be more than $1,000. Yeah, that GPU could be more than that. I think the GPU in this computer is more than that, but it was a server, so I don't think it was it wasn't a gaming computer. Looking for orange. Yeah, I'll catch up with the rest of that later, and I will follow up on any comments I feel that I need to tomorrow. But I have something coming up I need to go ahead and get out of here. So Ken Stout, get ready. They are coming to you. I'm pulling up your show on another screen here. And you ought to start streaming. I recommend, Ken Stout, that you go ahead and start streaming because they're coming to you now. There's the email address if you want to send a question or put a comment on any of my videos. I'll follow it up on a Windows Daily or a comment in the chat room, a chat in the comment room. You know what I mean. Ending stream over here, this button. Goodbye.